Here to repair our understanding right now.
Hey, Troy, you think about jobs, people always want you to be right and do everything right, but there's one job out there that, it's kind of like if you get it wrong, they expect it and so be it. But then if you get it right, they rejoice. What job is that?
I think that would probably be the job of a weatherman. 50% right, 50% wrong.
About like our weather, and I think about that, and I don't want to make light of them, but it kind of leads us to today's question.
Okay.
Because Jesus talked about being able to predict weather in Matthew chapter 16, 1-3.
Okay.
And the question is, does Matthew 16:3 teach that Christians today need to look for signs of Jesus' second coming? The simple answer to that, no. All right. In fact, let's just clarify about Jesus' second coming. Are we supposed to be looking for signs at all about that? Are there predictions about when that's going to take place?
There are no predictions about when that's going to take place. In fact, the Bible is very clear, and Jesus himself said in Matthew chapter 24, verse 36, he says, "But of that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, but my Father only." He even tells his disciples later before he ascended into heaven, he says, "It is not for you to know the times or seasons which the Father has put in his own authority." Peter goes on to affirm that in chapter 3, 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, when he says, "The day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night." So clearly, no one knows whenever Jesus is going to return, when the earth is going to end. There is no sign for that, so we don't need to look for that sign.
So the only thing that we can know about it is that it's going to happen.
Right.
What will happen if we're unprepared for that day? So the lesson is that we need to prepare. But then if we start studying the book of Revelation, or we start studying Matthew 24, or even Matthew 16, and we start trying to put a time as if that's a sign of when it's going to happen, then we know we're not studying correctly.
That is exactly right. In fact, Matthew 16 is very clear. These Pharisees and these Sadducees were coming, and they were trying to disprove Jesus or wanting him to say who he was. They even said, "Let him come down off the cross and we'll believe in him." Well, we know that's not true, because as we've seen, Jesus already did all those signs. The important point of Matthew 16 is that he is saying the signs are here. You need to not worry about that. You need to recognize I am the Messiah, and you need to get your life right with God now in this day and age. Don't worry about looking for signs for the future or anything like that.
Exactly. 16:3 says, and let's back up to verse 2. He says, "When it is evening, you say it'll be fair weather, for the sky is red. In the morning, it'll be foul weather. Today, for the sky is red and lowering. Oh, you hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but you can't discern the signs of the times." Jesus has already given them signs.
Mm-hmm.
He's not giving them another one because they are rejecting it, just like you said. And so he actually says later on in verse 4, "A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. There shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah." And that's a reference to the 3 days that Jonah spent in the belly of the whale, or the great fish. And it's a reference to Jesus going to spend 3 days in the Hadean realm when he dies, but be resurrected. And in fact, many of these Pharisees and Sadducees could be the very ones in Acts 2 that finally, with the seeing of that sign, come to the knowledge that Jesus is the Son of God.
Amen.